There's a spice in your kitchen right now that costs less than $1 for enough to protect every piece of furniture in your home for 6 months. You apply a small amount to the corners, the legs, and the edges of your furniture. Your dog never touches it again. Your cat never scratches it again. Not because they were trained, not because they were scared, because their olfactory system, which is between 10,000 and 100,000 times more sensitive than yours depending on the species, detects a compound in this spice that their nervous system is biologically programmed to reject. It is not cruel. They simply find the smell deeply and permanently unpleasant. In the scratched sectional that has been slowly destroyed for 18 months, the chair legs that look like they have been through a wood chipper, the table corner that both animals have decided is a shared territory marker, are protected permanently for the cost of a kitchen spice. This is not a training method, it is applied sensory biology. Veterinary behaviorists understand that cats and dogs have olfactory aversion responses to specific chemical compounds that are entirely absent or muted in human sensory experience. The compounds in question have been studied in veterinary research. Commercial pet repellent sprays worth $15 to $30 per bottle are formulated around these exact compounds. And the kitchen version of those compounds, available for $1 per ounce in the spice aisle, is more concentrated, longer lasting, and more immediately effective than most commercial alternatives. Then someone in a corporate boardroom did the math. The global pet care products market generates over $230 billion annually. Pet furniture protection products, scratch deterrent sprays, pet training aids, and furniture protector covers represent a multi-hundred-million-dollar category built on the premise that protecting your furniture from pet damage requires a branded product. A $1 spice that outperforms most of them on every surface is not a competing product. It is a pantry item that was never invited to the comparison review, and what was never invited cannot threaten the category. Welcome to Forbidden Fix. If these stories matter to you, hit subscribe and the bell. This is where we dig up what industries spent decades trying to erase. The primary spice is cayenne pepper, which contains a capsaicin as its active compound. The secondary option, effective for animals, particularly sensitive to bitter scents, is ground black pepper or a 50-50 spray of lemon juice and white vinegar. And the science behind why these work so dramatically differently on animals than on humans is neuroreceptor biology. To understand the mechanism, you need to understand how olfaction works in dogs and cats, and how dramatically different it is from human olfactory capacity. The human nose contains approximately 6 million olfactory receptor cells. A dog's nose contains between 150 million and 300 million. The portion of a dog's brain dedicated to analyzing scent is proportionally 40 times larger than the equivalent human brain region. Dogs detect odors at concentrations as low as parts per trillion. Cats, while slightly less extreme in receptor count than dogs, have an additional olfactory organ that humans lack entirely, the vomeronasal organ, or Jacobson's organ, which detects chemical signals at concentrations below what standard olfactory receptors can process. Capsaicin, the compound responsible for heat in cayenne pepper, binds to the TRPV1 receptor, a temperature and pain receptor present in mammals including dogs and cats. In humans, TRPV1 activation at high concentrations produces the burning sensation associated with hot peppers. But at low concentrations, particularly via olfactory exposure rather than direct mucosal contact, capsaicin produces a strong aversive signal. In dogs and cats, whose olfactory systems detect capsaicin at dramatically lower concentrations than humans can, even the airborne trace of capsaicin from a light dusting of cayenne produces a strong aversive signal detectable from several inches away. The animal approaches, detects the compound at a concentration that registers as deeply unpleasant or irritating and retreats. With repeated encounters, the aversion becomes conditioned. The animal learns to avoid the treated area without any correction from the owner. Lemon juice contains limonene, a terpene compound that cats find particularly aversive. The combination of limonene from citrus and acetic acid from vinegar creates a dual aversion spray that is effective on both dogs and cats. The aversion to citrus is well documented in veterinary literature and is entirely neurological, not learned. It is an innate sensory response tied to evolutionary aversion to certain plant compounds. There is no training involved. There is no punishment. The animal simply prefers not to be near the smell. Repeatedly. Before I go further, this video covers the primary deterrent methods. Inside the Forbidden Fix vault, I've compiled complete pet behavior and furniture protection guides covering species-specific olfactory aversion compounds, application schedules, surface compatibility testing, combination approaches for extreme cases, and the veterinary behavior modification techniques that certified animal behaviorists charge $200 to $500 per session to implement. The link is in the description. But stay right here because the commercial pet repellent market is one of the most straightforward examples of consumer misdirection in the pet care industry. Veterinary behaviorists at major research universities, including Cornell's College of Veterinary Medicine and the University of California, Davis School of Veterinary Medicine, have published papers on olfactory aversion in domestic animals. The Merck Veterinary Manual, the definitive professional reference for veterinary medicine, documents olfactory aversion responses to capsaicin and citrus compounds in both canine and feline species. Commercial pet repellent products from brands including Bitter Apple, Nature's Miracle, and PetSafe use formulations based on bitter denatonium benzoate, citrus oils, or capsaicin derivatives as their active deterrent compounds, which are the same categories of compounds found in your kitchen, spice rack, and refrigerator fruit drawer. The commercial products add carrier liquids, fragrances, and preservatives. The core aversion chemistry is identical. The price differential is between $1 and $30. The pet damage protection market generates significant recurring revenue. Furniture protector sprays require reapplication, scratch deterrent tapes must be replaced, electronic deterrent mats require batteries, training pads are disposable. The industry is structured around recurring purchase. A $1 bag of cayenne pepper that can be lightly reapplied weekly for 6 months at a cost of pennies per application does not generate recurring revenue at the rate that $15 bottles of spray do. This is not a conspiracy. It is a straightforward market preference for products with recurring purchase cycles over products that solve the problem indefinitely. If you have made it this far, you understand more about veterinary sensory biology and olfactory aversion chemistry than 99% of pet owners who have bought multiple spray bottles of commercial deterrent and watched their animals scratch right through the treatment. Subscribe and share. One share might save someone's couch. Here is exactly how to do it. Step 1. Choose your deterrent. For dogs and cats targeting wood furniture surfaces, cayenne pepper powder is the most immediately effective option. For cats specifically, the lemon juice and white vinegar spray is highly effective and leaves no visible residue on fabric surfaces. For very sensitive surfaces like upholstery, test a small hidden area first to confirm no discoloration. Step 2. For powder application, sprinkle a very small amount of cayenne pepper along the edges, corners, and legs of the furniture being targeted. The animal will detect it from inches away. You do not need visible powder. A light, invisible dusting is sufficient. Concentrate on the specific spots showing existing damage, as animals return to previously marked locations repeatedly. Step 3. For fabric furniture and cat scratching applications, mix equal parts lemon juice and white distilled vinegar in a spray bottle. Spray lightly on the target areas. Allow to dry. Reapply every 4 to 5 days initially, then weekly as behavior modification takes hold. Step 4. Simultaneously provide an appropriate alternative for the behavior. Cats scratch to maintain claw health and mark territory. A sisal scratching post positioned near the deterrent-treated furniture gives them an acceptable alternative to the furniture. Dogs chew for stress relief. Appropriate chew toys provided during the behavior change period accelerate the result. Step 5. For dogs with outdoor access, a border of cayenne dusted around garden beds eliminates digging behavior in specific areas. The powder needs reapplication after rain. Step 6. Reapply weekly for 4 weeks, then monthly for maintenance. Total cost, less than $1 per month. Compare that to the $30 bottle of commercial deterrent or the $200 furniture protector slipcover. I need to be honest with you. Cayenne powder and citrus spray are effective aversion tools for surface deterrence. They are not a substitute for addressing the underlying behavioral need. If a dog is destructive from separation anxiety, the anxiety must be addressed through behavioral modification, environmental enrichment, and potentially veterinary consultation, because the anxiety will redirect to a different target even if the furniture is protected. Cayenne must never be applied near an animal's face, eyes, or nose directly, as direct mucosal contact with capsaicin causes genuine pain and distress. The goal is airborne olfactory aversion, not direct contact. Do not apply powder to surfaces that animals lick, such as floor-level areas accessible to dogs, as ingesting significant amounts of cayenne causes gastrointestinal distress. Keep powder applications at furniture edge and leg height, above the level where a dog would lick the floor. And for cats, the vomeronasal organ sometimes responds to citrus differently than the main olfactory system. If your cat appears unbothered by lemon citrus spray, add a few drops of eucalyptus or rosemary essential oil to the mixture. Both are documented feline aversives. And while both compounds are generally safe, some essential oils are toxic to cats at higher concentrations. Use sparingly and ensure ventilation. Your grandmother did not have a scratched sofa, not because her pets were better behaved, because she knew that a handful of ground pepper along the upholstery seams was a sufficient deterrent to redirect the cat to the scratching post in the corner. This was not a training program. It was sensory management using the animal's own biology. The same biology that makes bloodhound tracking possible is the biology that makes a light dusting of cayenne an impenetrable barrier. The pet care industry arrived. saw a behavioral management challenge and converted it into a product category. There was not a more effective deterrent. There was just one that required a monthly repurchase. Subscribe and share. Every share preserves what they tried to erase. The next vault opens soon. And what is inside might explain how a $2 paste fills a hole in your wall in 60 seconds without painting it.